This video series is to introduce website development to beginners who don't know anything about making websites. If this particular video seems too easy, click the first link in the description to go to the next one. The methods in this video may not be the best, but I'll try to explain them as best as I can. Now, we can start learning the languages that make up the main part of your site. This video will cover the basic HTML tags. Tags are words wrapped in greater than and less than signs that tell the browser to read it in a certain way. Website languages, like other languages, have a huge vocabulary, and I can't possibly go over every tag in each language, but I will try to cover what I think are the basic tags that you might find useful for the construction of your site. There will be reference links in the video description to sites I think explain other tags well. There are a few tags that tell the browser what part of the website it's looking at. For example, looking at this website, there are words on the tab, in the window itself, and hidden information that tell the browser I want the background to be a certain color. Each of these must be indicated by tags defined in HTML. Tags wrap the information in them, so you must open the tag with a less than sign, insert the tag name, and close the tag with a greater than sign to end the naming process. Most tags have an opening tag and a closing tag. In HTML, to indicate a tag is closing, you enter the same thing to open, but before the name, put a /. This is the basic HTML setup. The first tag starts telling the browser that HTML is the document type and language to be read. This tag doesn't need to be closed. To describe the page, HTML tags should be used. The standard format you should use for writing code is to tab in once when you've opened a tag set. So HTML tags would look like this. The head tag is where information that won't be visible should be put, such as reference files. I'll explain this further later on. The title tag needs to be placed inside of the head tag. The words inside the title tag are words that you see on the tab. The body tag indicates what will be placed inside the main screen area that is visible. With the body, there are many tags that further lay out the page. Text tags include H1, H2, up to H6 for different heading sizes. P indicates a paragraph, div is used for generic organization, and to add links you use A tags, which stand for anchor. Within tags you can add attributes, which give the wrapped text more information. The value of an attribute should always be surrounded by quotes. So, for example, A tags need information that says where to link to. You would add the attribute href, which stands for hyperreference, which just means link. An example anchor tag would look like this. Another useful tag is the Img tag to insert an image. It uses an src attribute to show where the source file is. You can also include attributes like width and height. Every tag can contain ID, class, and style attributes. I'll explain these later on. And from there, attributes are tag specific. A BR tag indicates a line break. Because it's simply telling the browser to do something, it doesn't wrap around any text, so it doesn't need to be closed. To make a horizontal line, use the HR tag. Because it doesn't include or surround words like the BR tag, it doesn't need to be closed. If you need to add a comment for other developers or for yourself to read later on, you can write it within this tag. To wrap up this section of the series, practice making simple tags and then save them. Once your file is on a server, the domain you get will point to those files. By default, the browsers directed to a certain server will look for a file called index.html. So, if your domain example.com points to your server, it will actually load example.com/index.html in the browser. If you ever want to look at the code of any other website, you can by right-clicking in Chrome and selecting Inspect Element, or hit F12 to bring up the developer tools. For other browsers, do Google search to find out how you can view the source. I'll leave a link to a resource that has a more in-depth look at the tags and attributes in the video description. When you want something specific, Google search it to find the answer. It's best to go into a project wanting an outcome and searching for it from there, rather than trying to learn it all at once. If you have any questions regarding basic HTML tags after you've searched for it on Google, leave them in the comments section and I'll try to help as best as I can. If you understand everything I went over in this video, you have a good start. There is still a lot more to learn before you can get a complete website up. If you're ready to learn how to style your website, go ahead and click the link on the screen or in the description to go to the next video. Thanks for watching.